Hello, everybody. I am having fun stippling this piece, and we are at week 22 of signed comics. We are at days 145 through 151, and it wasn't planned, but the book that I have for 150, holy crap, it's one of my favorites. Now, yeah, it's hard to say that with so many books, and I'm always saying it's one of my favorites, but the one for 150 is, I've been waiting a long time to get that one signed. So being able to get that one signed, very important to me. And we'll get to that when we get to it. But we start off with day 145, Kickers Incorporated, signed by Sam Della Rosa. Now this one, you all know by now how, if you've been watching my videos on a weekly basis, you all know that DP7 is one of my favorite, if not my favorite all-time series. The artwork was solid by Paul Ryan, and uh, the story was great. It was basically the X-Men of the New Universe line, and I like it. I love it so much. I keep it separate from the rest of my books. So, um, this issue of Kickers Incorporated guest starred DP7, of course, and it was also the pencils were Paul Ryan. Paul Ryan did the pencils, and the inks were done by Sam Del Rosa. So I think it was 2 years ago. Sam Del Rosa was at a show in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, at the HersheyCon, and I went specifically to get that book signed along with some of the issues from Squadron Supreme that he did. So having Sam Del Rosa sign specifically this book, I was like, oh. It's like I said, I don't have it because Paul Ryan sadly has passed, and I don't have any books signed by him. So to have this book signed by Sam Del Rosa over his inks or the pencils of Paul were important to me. So and so yeah, this was a good. I like this story. It was just a one-off crossover in one issue. It's while the DP7 characters were on the run from the clinic, and they reached out to the Kickers Incorporated team, and of course, there's a misunderstanding, and they fight. In the end, they come to understanding that they're not neither of them are bad people, and they part. So, and then of course, the leader of Kickers Incorporated. Here, what it was, Kickers Incorporated. The It was about a football player who gets experimented on, and he has uh, paranormal abilities or metahuman abilities, however you want to phrase it. And when the book was canceled, they didn't cancel the character. He ended up being a short story in the back that he joined the U.S. military to. He was being pressured by the CIA to work for them, so he joins the U.S. military. And the U.S. military, at the point, they are wanting to create like I guess so a SEAL Team 6, if you will, of metahumans, and so he's the leader of that group. So, and then from there we have day 146 and day 147. This is Kitty Pryde and Wolverine. That not the new miniseries, the original miniseries. 6 issues where Kitty Pryde uh, goes over to Japan because her father's caught up in some dealings with the mafia, and she gets kidnapped by I don't know who it is specifically. She's basically captured and turned into an assassin, brainwashed into becoming an assassin. Then Wolverine has to go over and rescue her. And this was a big series, really, because when Kitty Pryde and Wolverine returned to the X-Men, Kitty Pryde had a lot more focus, if you will. She, her and Wolverine were much closer. This is where it started the whole Wolverine having a like a kid sidekick, and how she was fighting her demons of having been an assassin, actually killed people, and Wolverine had to convince her to uh, look within inside herself, to come to terms with what she'd done, and to find strength from it, to be a stronger person. So, and so I picked issue 3 and issue 6 because of the story. But if you go back and take a look, it's day 147, issue 6. You'll see, in the panel, there's Wolverine on this side, and he's throwing his claws through Kitty to get to the bad guy. And you'll look in the lower left-hand corner. There's the box where the spar code would be, and the guy's foot is there. And it's because I bought it off. I didn't buy. I bought it at a comic book store. The box was drawn, but his foot's there, so it goes through that. So I remember when I had Al Milgrom sign that issue, he was like, "Wow." He goes, "I don't know if that was a misprint or what, but that shouldn't have been there." And because they didn't have the Spider-Man black face, and so I was like, "Oh wow!" I just happened to pick it. I didn't pick it for that reason, but so no, that's an issue. It's kind of cool in the fact that I got it with that type of with that maybe like possible misprint on it. So I'll let Marcus Kilgore research and find if it was a misprint or not. So, but I got it because I wanted that specific issue signed, not because of it being a possible misprint. Because, like I always say, I get the book signed that I want to have signed, not because there's a possibility of it being worth more in the future. Just as, like I said to you guys when I was going through Infinity Gauntlet with that first issue signed by George Perez and uh, uh, Jim Starlin. How like, ooh, this is one of those books that I should consider getting uh, uh, Rubenstein to sign, and he is going to be at the Garden State Comic Con. So that book is now sitting within the books to be signed at Garden State, which that's going to be this year. It's going to be in a couple weeks. So that week, when we have, I'm not going to be posting a video that week. That following week will be one of those weeks where there'll be the Saturday video and I'll do a Sunday video, both of them doing recaps of signed comics. And I'll do a recap of the Garden State show along with the evening festivities. We're going to be staying at the same hotel, at least I believe we are, as all the creators. So that'll be nice having a hanging out with everyone in the evening. So, but so, and then after that, we have uh, day 48 and day 49. It is Kingsway West. This is Greg Pak's book that he did through Dark Horse, and this was well. The reason why I had him sign it is it was a neat story. It's a gunslinger, but he's Chinese, and after being in a and after like 13 years of war, he's a hardened warrior, but he doesn't want to be a warrior anymore. So he's in the mystical American West with his wife, and then a golden sword wielding woman shows up, uh, and he's now has to fight for his life, his wife's life, and his very soul against her. And it's got like mystical creatures and dragons in it. It was just an interesting, fun story. So when I had Greg Pak sign this, he was. I know when I went to have him sign, I had him sign like one or two other books, but I had him sign all four of the issues when I had him meet. And when he saw that I had all four, he was like, "Oh wow, thank you very much," because uh, obviously this was his IP, so he had great pride in it. So he was very happy that I was asking him to sign that as opposed to other pieces of work that he'd done. So, and that of course leads us to day 150 of signed comics, and this is the DC special number 1. It is the last days of the Justice League. And this was after the Crisis in Infinite Earths. This, in many ways, was an epilogue to Crisis in Infinite Earths and a fitting send off for the Justice League, Justice Society characters. Remember, many of the characters, like the Batman, Superman character, Wonder Woman, they were no longer around. They were no longer around in this new Earth. And so we kind of got like a semi quasi faux history of what happened to the JSA characters in World War II, along with them having to uh, basically the Ragnarok uh, uh, mythology of Norse gods, and they were an internal battle to defend Earth for Sunder and to keep him from reaching Earth. They were in a constant battle with him. It was a very I enjoyed this much because here it was it's like in the faux history of World War II, all of the mystery men characters are uh, in Germany fighting, and one by one they're all dying. And then uh, afterwards, when the JSA characters go to the limbo area, here what happens is they're an internal battle. So they die, but they come back to life and they continue to fight. So it's one of those where like they're not like they're being heroes. Where it's like even though they're maintaining they're like they've drawn the line to keep Earth from being invaded from another dimension. It's not a heaven. It's more of a hell that they're in because they're fighting and they die, but then they come back to life to continue to fight the threat. So so having this issue signed as like the final send off of the original JSA before always being brought back and how they figured out how to bring them back during 0 hour and whatnot was like I said they were good at maintaining at keeping them kind of like how Valiant had it, dead is dead. And they kind of did a good job of keeping them deceased for quite a for at least over a decade before they finally started to bring them back. So, and then, so yeah, having Roy Thomas sign this issue, very important to me. And specifically, because I don't know if I'll ever get the Gustav, I can't remember the creative team. I don't know if I'll ever get them to sign it. So having Roy sign it, very important to me. So to have this signed book of a book that I generally enjoy as a child. So, and then of course, and what nice was about it was the at the very end, the Infinity Incorporated characters are all there, and there's they give like a final tribute to their mentors, and then they kind of establish how it's like it's our job to continue the fight for them as a team. So, and then of course we have the final one, which was today. It was day 151, Legacies number 4, by signed by Jose Luis Garcia Lopez and Dave Gibbons. I think I have every single issue of this series signed by one person or another. So that's always nice to have. Specifically, it was like, and this was a neat one because it basically was telling you the history of the DC universe and the characters through the various crises from the eyes of first from a young boy who becomes a police officer, and basically his journey, along with his one friend who he took the right side of his life, and his friend took the wrong choices in life. And his one friend, in the end, even though he loses his life, he redeems himself at the end of the series. And then at the beginning of each issue, and I think at the end of each issue, as bookmarks for each issue, it starts with uh, Scott Collins did the artwork. Was of him, the main character, telling the story through his eyes and his experiences. Him in a retirement home, and then of course ends with his passing. So I enjoyed it very much. I hope if you ever have a chance to read this book, I think you should. I think it does a good job. The only thing that kind of takes you out of it is, wait a second, if these characters don't age, but then how's this guy who's a cop? How's it he's aging? And you kind of just gotta go with it, where it's like DC characters just don't age. So if the characters are relevant, they don't age. If they're irrelevant, they get retired for a while, and then sometimes they get brought back older than what they are. So you just it's comic book logic. You get it. Regular people don't, but it's not meant for them. It's for us, the fans, to understand. So, but so guys, this is almost done. Um, yeah, as it's been announced, I'm doing a story for John's Long Box. It's 16 pages. And so as soon as I'm done with this, I'm gonna start working on that. I will. I know what I do is I give John updates with the pencils, so he already has released what panel one looks like. So I've shared that. I will only be sharing artwork of progress based on John's releasing that information. So if he doesn't release anything for the next 5 months, I will not be releasing anything for the next 5 months. So, but I'm having a lot of fun. I had some neat script, and I hope that, and trust me, when that book is in campaign mode with my story, I guarantee you, I will be posting it and promoting it like crazy. So, you guys all have a great day, and I'm having a great day. I'm having a joyous day. So, you guys all have a great day, and as always, life is stressful, and that's why please just take it all one dot at a time.